talking a little bit more about the moose in the night sky. It's a fall constellation.
Right. The Great Moose pictograph identifies the constellation Pegasus. The figure is kind of squarish. Well, moose are kind of square. And that's the Great Square of Pegasus. So Pegasus rises late summer, just as the moose are starting to get a little aggressive. And then as the fall goes on, the moose constellation gets higher and higher in the sky. And so this is when the moose present themselves to the hunter. And not only do they present themselves to hunters, but they present themselves to cars and locomotives and other things. They're very aggressive. They don't back away. Then what happens is that the constellation starts to set. And that's when the moose get weaker. As the winter goes on and as spring comes, the moose just suffer from the cold and the scarcity of food. They get weaker and weaker until it finally sets in the west. And so the rising and setting of the constellation matches the rising and setting of the moose out there in the forest.
Fall or autumn is a time for hunting, and you've talked about a cultural story associated with moose. Could you share that again?
Well, it was based on a pictograph of a moose smoking a pipe. In all the hunting societies, all the Indian hunting societies, there's usually a story just like this about how humans got permission to harvest animals. There's no question that Indians revere the animals they hunted, but they still hunted them. They still killed them. They ate them. And so what happened that made this possible ethically? You know, the Plains Indians have this about the bison, and the Ojibwe have this about the moose, that there was a mutual obligation between moose and humans. And looking back to legendary time when, or I should say mythical time, to when animals could speak and humans could speak to them. And there was a moment when animals gave permission to humans. They would give of themselves to humans, provided humans did certain things. And one of the things was ceremonies of respect and honor.
Sure.
And if the Indians stopped doing that, the animals would withhold their gifts. Another would be their social obligations, to share the food once you got it, to take care of your family, to honor elders. So that pictograph of the moose smoking a pipe was the use of tobacco as part of these ceremonies. In the story, the pipe makes its appearance in a moose lodge. The moose in this story live in a lodge just like people do. And they have different places that they sit in and sit around the fire and they converse. And this pipe magically floats through the doorway and goes around the moose population. And that's what set in motion the use of tobacco as a sacrament to honor the moose. And the moose then agree that they would give of themselves.